Earlier on, a Luo man, if he wanted to make a home, would prepare himself. He ensures that he has an axe and a cockerel or a cock. Then the following day, very early in the morning, he goes to the site and makes a structure like this. In this structure, he was supposed to sleep in one day with the first son in the family. And then the next day, he begins to prepare the first wife's house as mentioned in the photograph. And then after completing the first wife's house, he sleeps in there with the first wife. Then the next day, he makes the second woman's house. And he continues in that order, even if there were 10 women, building the houses on alternative sides of their home. Then later on, the first boy would be built a house on the left-hand side as you enter the homestead, or on the right as you go out of the homestead. Then the boys will also build their huts alternately. Now, inside those houses, we had, on the first house, the man could put a spear there to show security, even in the other houses. And then they had this, the arrow with the bow. And this one was used to extract blood from a cow, which was made into very palatable food that was eaten. The processing of this grain was also part of the household chores for the woman. And the woman would beat the grains from here and then further processed using the pestle and the mortar. And the action was this. And then the grain would be processed using a winnowing tray, and the winnowing tray was smeared using cow dung. And then it would be up, down, and then if there was no wind, you could even improvise by blowing. And then the processing complete, the grain would be taken to a grinding stone just next to me here, and then it will be ground into powder. That would be used as for making ugali. Then the Luos were fishermen. The fish was prepared in a very, very specific pot for fish, or igla. Then the fishing mostly was done at night, using tin lamps those days. Tin lamp was meant for the small fish that we call locally omena. But for the big fish, there was another method of trapping them even during daytime, using traps that were made more or less like this. Those ones were longer. This could trap very well the fish for consumption. Other tools that were inside this house were the granary. This is a granary that is put inside the house. But on the photograph, we can see a bigger granary that was put outside. Now again, inside the house, there was a place that was slightly raised to act as a bed. And then on the raised ground, the Luo man used the skin as a bed sheet. Later on, they could make beds with the local wood, and then they use local grass to make the bed be complete. Then on this grass, they would sleep in. The men had to use this club. This club was both for their protection, and again, it was part of the fashion, complete attire. Now, Luo love music so much. And just behind me, we have a fully dressed woman, full gear. And then the man had an attire of the headgear and a goat skin that I don't have right now. It's around. And then the playing of nyatiti was so paramount. As a woman, I was not allowed to play nyatiti. This is a full-size nyatiti, but this is a model of nyatiti. As a woman, I was not allowed to play the 8-stringed instrument. Neither was I allowed to sit on this traditional stool that I've sat on today. It's because it's a special occasion that I've used the stool. The stool was 3-legged, and it was put outside the house to portray that a Luo man was so hospitable. So the stool really advocated for hospitality of a Luo person. In the homestead, the cattle kraal was put right at the center. As you can see, this is a bull fastened on the fastener. This is the position of the cattle kraal. In the fencing of the home, you can see gaps behind those houses. Luo man was so generous, and in case he was not capable of producing a baby, then there was negotiation, and a brother or a cousin that was chosen to be of good breed would come in and help in bringing forth children. In a Luo community, a woman was married for the community. You would claim the woman when you are with her. But then after that, the people could sit down to address this problem of childlessness. So this was allowed, and the cousin could come in, and then the man would excuse himself to visit cousins or other relatives. And when he comes back, he has to really alert the people in the home that he's come back. Like coming through the main gate, as you can see, but making funny noise. Did you remember to tie the cows? He's asking nobody, of course, but he's alerting those who came to help him raise children that he's back. And so what would the men do? They would escape through those side gates genuinely and go their way. The cock is symbolic. First, it makes you wake up early. It's a symbol of timekeeping. And then the axe here is symbolizing hard work. After making your own home, you're supposed to work hard, support the family, and even because we believe in extended families, the hard work that you do will even support the orphans elsewhere, will support your relatives. And so that is why when you make a home, you have to have these symbols. Again, the cock has further symbols. When I'm the owner of this home as a wife, and my daughter marries off, then the cock will be the main food for the husband of my daughter. And unless he eats it, the next one will not eat it. So it's also symbolic there. There are some beliefs that we have. If you have a bad omen again, sometimes the cock is used to exorcise the demons that have been in you. And again, the cock, also when you have a cock in the home, you are rest assured that your hands will lay, and that one means continuity and means wealth in the home. We still have quite a number that still have the same setup. But majority have opted for the modern style of putting up structures because life has become delicate, and so they feel that if they build an iron sheet roofed, and that one is a bit durable and cost effective. Now there is very little grass, and even if you wanted to touch this house, it would take you it is so taxing. Getting the grass and even transporting it becomes very difficult. And again, every year you'll have to repatch the house. So if you calculate the amount of money that you use in a house for a year, it will be cost effective if they use the iron corrugated sheet.
Ibaye ibelongeo, ibaye